دلوقتي مع أول بانل في فوتبول أكسس Summit. Would like to invite my friend and our star tonight, Mr. Anthony Baffoe, to start our first panel in Football Access Summit.
Thank you very much. The stars are here. They're sitting there in the first row. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I have the privilege to interview someone who looks a bit like me in terms of my hairdo. He is still very, very fit. For 6 consecutive years, he was the best referee of the IFAB HS. Also, for consecutive years, he was the best referee in the Italian league, El Calcio, which Juri Jokaev knows very, very well. And he's a personality. And I always say, you can't buy charisma and personality. It's God's given. And I believe he's blessed with it. Today, he is the boss of the refereeing, global. Not only for FIFA, I call it global. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome with a rousing applause Mr. Pierluigi Collina.
Thank you, Anthony.
You're very welcome. Tutto a posto?
Tutto bene.
Tutto bene.
Thank you. Anthony, first of all, I would like to thank you, the organization, for the invitation. It's a pleasure for me to be here. It's a pleasure for me to be in Cairo, in Egypt. Unluckily, it's a country that doesn't like football, I'm afraid. No, it's really, this is something very similar to the country I come from, Italy. We have big links, and one of these links is the love we have all for this sport, for the beautiful game. So thank you for the invitation. I thank you for having mentioned some finals. I refereed in my time as a referee. Before saying what made it possible, I would remember or I want to thank the guy who had the idea when I was 17 years old to propose me to join him in a referee course. I was a youngster, I was 17 years old, I was playing football, and I had no idea to become a referee. And many years later, I'm here having had what I had as a referee. So I think I have to thank that guy for the idea he had. In very short, I always thought that being committed and working hard was the way to achieve any kind of result. I did it. I would say it was more understandable and easy at the beginning, when you have to grow up, when you have to achieve these important goals, continuing to be committed and continuing to work very hard every single day when you have already reached the top is something more difficult. Because normally when you got the top, you rest on your laurels. Basically, you say, oh, come on, I'm so good that I can do things in a different way. I always continued to work hard, and probably this gave me the possibility to go until the very end of my refereeing life at the very top.
Obviously, it worked out very, very well. Is there, or was there any referee you look up to?
Sorry?
Was there any referee you looked up to?
There were, of course, some models I'll try to get inspiration from, but I always thought that it's important to pick up something from everybody, from a very famous and important one, but also from the new generation. I've been the youngest in a team of referee, and at the end I was the oldest. And even when I was the oldest, I always look at the new generation as, let's say, guys who can give me some new ideas. It's a different mentality, it's a new generation. You have to be open to what they can bring into your business.
It's very important to be open and to be a good listener as well. You see this ball here, it's a very nice ball, right? In 2002, you managed to get the final ball. What is this story about?
Well, I had the privilege to referee the World Cup final. I've been twice in a World Cup. The first one was in France with Yuri, and the second one Japan and Korea. And at the final, I had an objective: to bring something home, to, let's say, to have something very important as a memory for the rest of my life. And the target was the ball. So the match was over because Brazil was winning 2-0. No chance for Germany to come back. I delayed 20 seconds the final whistle until when I was sure to put my hand on the ball. And I grabbed the ball. Before and during the ceremony award, I was told, can you give us the ball? I can keep it for you. I didn't trust anybody. I had the ball in my hands for all the time, and I can say that the ball today is in my office at home, behind me every day, reminding me how great was that day in Yokohama.
These are fantastic memories. I thought by now the ball is in a FIFA museum, but you kept it at home. Very good.
Well, if I look back at my time and how the referees are prepared today, is night and day. Completely different. We implemented many things to support the referees in order to be ready for what is a very difficult job. Everyone can agree that refereeing is a very difficult job. We finished the World Cup in Qatar at the end of 2022, and already 6 months later we started the preparation for the next World Cup 2026 in Canada, USA and Mexico. It's a long journey, it's a long project, and we pay a lot of attention to how the referees will be prepared and selected. In 2 weeks' time, we will have a seminar for the African, the Asian, and the Oceanian referee in Doha. I repeat, as part of the preparation. We pay attention to every detail. Without going too deep into this detail, I don't want only mention one. Since already 7 years, since 8 years, and since 2015, we implemented in our team, in the supporting team, the match analysts, like a football team. So we have coaches, licensed football coaches, working with our referees to give them all the information concerning the two teams they are going to referee, how the teams play, how the players play, how the teams play by themselves and one against the other. How can a match change depending on the result in terms of tactics played by the two teams. We are convinced that being one step forward, knowing how a match will be played in advance makes the referee's job easier. And this is the target. So we are preparing our referees very, very well.
Physically, technically, and
They are athletes.
In terms of the speed, everything has changed. And according to that, you also prepare the referees, right?
Today, football is very much demanding, many more than years ago. And referees today are athletes. They have to be athletes among athletes. So, I repeat, we pay a lot of attention. We monitor the fitness preparation of our referees worldwide. We have referees in every corner of the world. Thanks to the technology, we can monitor from remote their fitness preparation. We provide them a tailor-made training programs to be followed. I repeat, we are very, very careful in dealing with every single, possibly small, but even the small details can make the difference. So we are very careful to pay attention to all of this.
There have been changes, but I know I sat on the IFAB panel of advisors as a former player, and I know it takes a very long process before any decision is made. But do you think there's something today which should be modified?
Well, I'm convinced that one of the responsibility of everyone is involved in the football leadership, from the FIFA president, the confederation, the member association, the laws of the game governing body, IFAB, all of them have the responsibility to keep the game or to make the game enjoyable, to protect the game, to protect the character of the game, the players. So they have the responsibility to do everything possible to let the football be the beautiful game in the future. You probably remember some changes, important changes, which were seen as shocking, I would say.
In the beginning.
In the beginning, when they were implemented. I think maybe not the most young people here, but those like us remember when the goalkeeper was allowed to pick up the ball by hands when the ball was passed by a teammate. If you think at that today, you say impossible, because the match was so boring. 10, 15 minutes with this tactic play by defender and goalkeeper. So, I repeat, it's important to pay attention at what may need to be changed to keep the beautiful game as beautiful as possible. In the future, I think we need to look at behavior, because we see that sometimes the image can be better. So everyone is involved should do his best to keep the image and to have correct behavior on the field of play. We are looking at things, one of them probably, again, concerning goalkeeper. Sometimes the goalkeeper keeps the ball in their hands too long. They are allowed 6 seconds, but they keep it for 20, 25, and people don't like.
It falls down.
Yeah, they fall down. So we need to clean a bit the game from these things. We will work on it.
You spoke about behavior and conduct. Did Yuri Djokovic behave himself well on the pitch?
Was perfect.
Very perfect. He was a very elegant player, to be honest.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, that we must say. When I was in Ivory Coast, I had breakfast with David Dean, former vice chairman of Arsenal, Abidi Pele, Ayew was at the table.
I'm a bit afraid because normally David Dean has the ideas. So let's see.
So Mr. Samson Adamo was also at the table, and he started talking about penalty shootout. He gave the example of the championship match Luton Town against Coventry, which they were fighting for promotion to come to the Premier League, which is a match worth 150 million to 200 million pounds because of TV rights, sponsors, etc. And he was saying that penalty shootout, the player has to take the penalty in front of the Luton fans, so he'll be destabilized. So he started talking, he said, IFAB should think about changes. My first answer was, how can that work?
It's a good answer. Let's say, first of all, let's say that the end where the penalties are taken is decided by a coin. So the referee normally tosses the coin to decide which is the end. So it's by casuality that a team takes the penalty in one end. You're right. Which could be the solution? Do we empty the stadium? So we tell all the crowd, leave the stadium because we have to be neutral in taking the penalties.
Or we change sides during penalty shootout?
It would become a very long story to go from one end to the other. Let's see.
Let's see, and I think sometimes it's good to think, but not everything is possible. But I don't blame him to be innovative or think about certain ideas. You know, he has been in football for a very long time.
Personally, as a personal approach, I'm not against something without having, let's say, tested. I think it's good to test something. I think it's good to see how it works, and then based on the evidences of a trial, we can decide what to do. But saying a priori, before, no, I don't like it, I don't want it, without having thought and tested, maybe you lose opportunities to do things better. Wow, different question, very difficult question. Very difficult question because I remember a morning in an hotel in Belfast, Northern Ireland. It was November 2014, so less than 10 years ago. And that was the first time we discussed the idea to provide referees with a technological support. 10 years ago. In 10 years, we came from an idea to something that it's implemented, it has been implemented in all major competition, the VAR. And I think you agree with me that if you think to have football or to imagine football without technology, without VAR, impossible. But it's only less than 10 years. So at that time, certainly I was not imagining that this would have been the present. So for me, it's very difficult to, let's say, to imagine, to predict what can be in the next 5 or 10 years. One thing, it's clear to me, and this is not only related to football. Our life is surrounded by technology. Technology lives with us, or we live with technology. What is very clear to me is, at the end of the day, technology is a support, but the human being is the one who uses the technology to better deal with his or her own job, her own activity. So behind the technology, always there has to be a man or a woman making the final decision. Well, this is an important point, particularly for those who have to deal with football future. New generation interact completely differently. I have a 10 years old granddaughter, and I see her how she deals with an iPhone, with an iPad and a computer, all at the same time.
Without looking at you.
Absolutely, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So this is something that we need to think of. But I repeat, I cannot imagine our life without technology.
Now, I want to address something which had criticism, and I want to, since you are the boss, the chief of referee, hear your side, and it's important for the audience also to hear your side, the famous blue card.
I think it was a storm in a cup of tea. Let me give you some background. The sin bin, because the blue card is how to tell a player to leave the field of play for a certain amount of time, which is the so-called sin bin. This is from rugby. The idea was to improve the behavior of players, and it was implemented at grassroots level.
Yes.
So young players, to improve their behavior, but also not to send off a player for the rest of the game for, let's say, a minor offense. So it's also inclusivity, to offer the possibility to player to continue to play after a certain amount of time.
You have that in handball, right?
Sorry?
Handball.
Yeah, like
Yes.
handball. So basically it was tested at grassroots level, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old competitions. And it worked very well. So someone thought that it might have been worthy to test it in a more senior level. Unfortunately, it was understood that next year it will be major competition, which was not absolutely the objective. So it might be possible, if IFAB will decide it, that there might be some test, but definitely at very low level in football. Before implementing something new at the top level, we have to go through, you mentioned before, there is a long process. This long process means different trials to see how the trials work, to see the outcome of the trials, and at the end, if the evidences are convincing, we can go to a high level. But this is certainly not for the next future. So I want to make people quiet, don't worry, nobody think of it.
So friends of the media who are here, now you hear it from the boss.
I hope you
himself.
understood.
Okay.
I hope the translation was good.
Don't misquote anything. If not, we'll play
That's important.
the video.
That's important. Well, from what I have seen, I didn't follow the entire competition as you did. From what I've seen, the standard was good, and I think there will be some confidence in the future. I know that there has been only one African referee officiating a World Cup final. Belcola, the Moroccan Belcola, did it in France. So he refereed Yuri in that game, in the final. But after that time, no one else. I think there is potential in the future. I've seen some very good referees. Even in our competition, we had some very good African referee. So we look forward to having them in our competition in the next future, inshallah.
Inshallah, like we say. There was also a scene, Senegal playing Côte d'Ivoire, and after the match, all the referees, including the VAR referees, were sanctioned and sent home. Is this, for you, the right way to do?
Well, honestly, I was not in charge of the competition. I didn't follow, as I said before, the competition. So honestly, I cannot answer with background.
I will answer for you. I think it was the right decision to
His
make.
words, not mine, eh?
No, it's me, Anthony Baffoe.
Well, it's something that we decided, so of course I'm in favor. I think it brings more transparency and also make the decision taken by the referee more understood. So this is something that worked very well. We had trials, so we didn't start immediately at the very top. We started in several competitions, and because of the very positive outcome we had, this will be possible for any competition in the future. So whenever there is or there will be a VAR-related decision, the referee is allowed to explain why the decision was taken and which decision was taken. The outcome was very, very positive.
That's good. So also the timekeeping. I think it's something which was in the beginning criticized, but now,
Anthony,
now I can see
more than criticized, Anthony. I think it was not fully understood.
Okay.
We had a match in the World Cup in Qatar with, if I'm not wrong, 21 minutes. But in that match, everything happened, including a very long injury of the Iranian goalkeeper, which lasted 11 minutes,
wow,
which is something very unusual. Okay, so to make it more understood, first, we are trying to compensate all the time lost in specific circumstances during the match. I don't think that anybody like to have a match lasting 41, 42, 43 minutes.
Incredible.
It's too short. People want to see football, want to see the ball rolling for not for 90 minutes because it's not possible, but for a convenient amount of time. So we identified some, let's say, relevant circumstances occurring during the match, from injuries to substitution, VAR intervention, goal celebration. Goal celebration is something beautiful.
And you cannot take it away.
It's great. Why the referee has to kill the joy of the player who scored the goal to bring them back to their own field and to restart the play as soon as possible. Basically, you are killing the joy of football. So we told our referees, let the player celebrate, but take how long this celebration lasted. And at the end, you compensate every second spent for the celebration. In Qatar, we had beautiful celebration, participated by all the team, including the players on the bench, the reserves, who went on the field celebrating. The opponents simply waiting, without any complaint. Why? Because they knew that every second spent for the celebration would have been added at the end. So there were no reason to complain. So I repeat, we are not adding any time, we are not adding any extra fatigue to the players, we simply compensate the time which was not played for specific circumstances at the end. At the beginning, to see the fourth official raising 11 minutes generated a reaction. But today, you have seen at the AFCON, 11 minutes, nobody cared, because they knew that that time was lost before, during the match.
And it has been very well explained. Once again, thank you very much, Pierluigi Collina. We want to have just 2 questions from the audience.
Okay, happy?
And we are very happy. We have a gentleman there. Can somebody take the microphone to him, please? Please let us know your name and from which organization you are from, and then you can direct the question to Mr. Pierluigi Collina.
Thank you very much. My name is Wa'el Al-Qadi. I'm from Jordan, and I'm a president of Bristol Rovers Football Club in England.
Oh.
I have a question for you. I've watched you live refereeing the World Cup finals in France and Tokyo, and I really respect you're one of the few referees that everybody loves and respects because of your fairness. My question to you is regarding one specific game that happened last week. It was in the AFC final between Qatar, the host nation, and my country, Jordan. The game ended 3-1 to Qatar with 3 penalties awarded, and the whole world, saw that what happened was kind of strange. My question to you, if you were the referee in that final, would you have awarded 1, 2, 3, or none of those penalties? Thank you.
He was not there.
Thank you so much. So, first of all, I would say congratulations to your country, to Jordan, who made history, because it was the first time that Jordan participated to the knockout stage, and then to the quarters, and then to the semi, and then to the final. So I think this was great for Jordan. I fully disagree with something which is very popular, particular in some countries. They say the best referees is the one you never notice. This is typical in England. They say an unnoticed referee is the best one. Certainly, a referee who gives 3 penalties in a match is noticed. What matters is not if he's noticed or not. What matters is if the decisions were correct. At the end of the day, this makes the difference. So I cannot say what I have done or what I would have done if I would have been the referee in that match. Certainly, if I would have seen the fouls committed or the offenses committed live or thanks to technology, as the referee did, I certainly would have given those penalties. 1, 2, 3, even 4 if needed.
Okay, satisfied? Good.
There's another one there, I think.
Well, please. Okay, we have only one more, and then, okay, 2 more, and that's it, because Mr. Collina also has to catch his flight.
Yeah.
And everybody knows Cairo and traffic.
I think the most dramatic match that Mr. Collina have refereed is the UEFA Champions League final between Bayern Munich and Manchester United in 1999. Could you tell us, please, the difference you have seen between the players of both teams before and after Manchester United made their comeback or the remontada they did? The question is clear?
No, because
No, we couldn't hear you acoustically very well.
Could you tell us, please, the difference, what you have seen between the players of both teams, Manchester United and Bayern Munich, in 1999 final? What is the difference between the spirit, in terms of spirit?
well, I can tell you that that was a memorable night. It is considered the ultimate final in the Champions League history because of what happened in the last 3 minutes of the match. So the spirit of Bayern Munich player was very positive until the end. They deserved to win until the 90 minutes. The best player from Man United was Schmeichel, the goalkeeper. And this means that Bayern Munich played better than United during the 90 minutes. But then, don't give up at the end until the very end. And this is what United did. They scored twice in the last 3 minutes of stoppage time. So the spirit completely changed. The English were on the moon. And I remember the Bayern Munich players on the ground because their dream vanished in few seconds. And we are talking of the Champions League, which for a player is the highest competition, probably together with the World Cup they can play. And the trophy, seeing the trophy flying away after you were sure to have already won that trophy was very hard for them.
Thank you. That was the first European match I've ever seen.
Great.
So thank you.
Thank you. I remember Sami Kufo very well.
Yeah, I remember also Sami Kufur on the ground.
Hello, Mr. Banel. How are you?
Excuse me?
My name Hani, and I want to ask a question regarding last technology we see. Who's stronger now, the VAR or the referee? This very important question now everybody asks regarding what we see the matches. Sometimes we see maybe referee did not control the game and the VAR is stronger than him. This is my first question. Second...
No, one question.
Just
one question.
I think
okay,
I said before, technology is an important support in our life. Technology makes our lives easier, but then we have to use technology properly. So technology cannot replace us in doing things. It's only a tool which has to be very well used. If you don't use it properly, it's not the tool which is guilty. It's someone who is not dealing with this.
Thank you very much.
I would like to thank you very much. I'm very sorry. As Anthony said, I have to plane to go back to Italy. But I really thank you for coming here today, and I want to congratulate the organizers for the great event, the great platform you have created. Congratulations, Mabruk. Mabruk.
Thank you very much.
Thank
and
you.
have safe travels back. Thank you. Thank you.